Real opportunity here for Tom Sykes as he makes his way through those final two right-handers on towards the start-finish straight. Will it be pole position number 51 for Tom Sykes in his first since Phillip Island 2020? He's over the line for P2. It's a 132.173. It's not quite enough to knock Jonathan Ray from top spot, and plenty of riders around him set to improve. The likes of Locatelli and Razgatlioglu. Chaz Davies is the first of what you would consider the front runners to reach the line, but it's only good enough for P14. And recent struggles in Superpole continue for Chaz Davies, who's had the worst run in Superpole since his debut 2012 campaign. An average 10th on the grid in 2021 so far, and at best it's going to be 14th here. 2 minutes to go. Razgatlioglu 3/10 of a second now clear of Jonathan Ray as he heads into the final two turns. He's got Locatelli out on track with him. Locatelli set to move up onto the front row of the grid. He's 2/10 of a second down at the moment on Jonathan Ray, the fastest time off the final turn then and driving towards the line. What can Razgatlioglu do here? Will it be pole provision? It's provisional pole for Razgatlioglu, 131.751, but Redding and Ray are still to come.
Yeah, Redding and Ray still to set their times, but that's going to be a tough time to beat. Down into the 1 minute 31. It's the first we've seen so far this weekend. Really impressive stuff from Top Rack. Gerloff here trying to find some time on his final lap. He's on course for a personal best, could move himself onto the second row.
P4, the best effort of his 2021 Superpole so far, and he matches it provisionally with 132.238. But Scott Redding looks likely to improve on that, looking to move on to the front row of the grid. We lost Carol Haneker last time around. There were briefly yellow flag notifications shown on our screen, and for the moment at least, we wonder whether that's going to impact any of the riders up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, for Jonathan Ray, he's on course for a personal best. Once again, he's up by 0.5 of a second through sector 1. You can see Scott Redding, he rolled off in this lap. He's going to give himself one last chance to try and set his fast time.
Just under a minute remaining on the clock then. I suspect that Redding potentially may have got caught up in the yellow flags in the third sector there, but either way, he's slowed down in the closing stage of that lap over a second down on what he'd been able to do before. He's going to have another attempt to make it onto the front row of the grid. Latest lap cancelled for Michael Ruben Rinaldi. That's going to be disastrous because that's going to be his final lap around this circuit. He remains in 8th position. He's not going to be able to improve. Redding up by almost 2/10 of a second on his latest lap. It is going to be his final flying lap, and it's going to be a tall order for him to keep that tyre intact fully until the final moments of this session. Just 20 seconds until the checkered flag falls. Can Jonathan Ray pick Top Rack Razgatlioglu? It's going to need to be a blinding final sector, and it is! Jonathan Ray with a 131.684. How on earth has he managed that through those final two right-handers?
Yeah, for Jonathan Ray, that's a stunning final sector. See if Gerloff's able to keep his hand in on a second lap in the Q-tire, because this is going to give a good indication for what we can expect for Scott Redding. He lost out a fair bit of ground in that final sector there, Gerloff, around about 0.8 of a second. That tyre fell off a cliff. Is the same thing going to happen to Scott Redding? He's down 5th fastest at the moment, just about to come through the end of the third sector. He's up by 0.05.
And Scott Redding is managing to nurse that tyre for the moment at least. Can Alex Lowe's improve on his current P9? And what about Leon Haslam directly behind him on track, looking for his best Superpole result of this season so far? Hasn't qualified on the front two rows of the grid so far this season and can't do here either. Lap goes away from him in the final sector, so it's all about Scott Redding now. Currently 5th, he goes P3. It's not good enough to get on terms with Ray and Razgatlioglu. The tyre not lasting through the final sector. Redding is furious, but as it stands, it will be a front row start, and it doesn't look like there's anyone around those three that can improve. We will have the top 3 in the World Championship on the front row of the grid for race 1 this afternoon, and the Tissot Superpole race tomorrow, and they will be in championship order as well. Ray, Razgatlioglu and Redding.